Welcome to Woosh TV. In this video we are going to talk about top 10 dangerous viruses in the world. So before starting this video, like this video, and subscribe to Woosh TV for future updates. Humans have been fighting viruses since the dawn of time, long before our species developed into its contemporary form. Vaccines and antiviral medications have helped individuals recover from several viral diseases by preventing infections from spreading widely. For one illness, smallpox, we've been able to eliminate it, preventing new instances from spreading over the world. However, we're still a long way from defeating viruses. Several viruses have leapt from animals to humans in recent decades, causing large epidemics and killing thousands of people. The virus strain that caused the Ebola outbreak in West Africa between 2014 and 2016 kills up to 90% of those infected, making it the most dangerous member of the Ebola family. Here are the 10 deadliest murderers, ranked by the likelihood that a person will die if infected with one, the number of people they have murdered, and whether or not they are an increasing threat. Number 10. Marburg virus. In humans and non-human primates, the Marburg virus causes hemorrhagic fever. Small outbreaks among lab workers in Germany who were exposed to diseased monkeys brought from Uganda led to the discovery of the Marburg virus in 1967. The Marburg virus, like Ebola, can cause hemorrhagic fever, which causes high fevers, and widespread bleeding throughout the body, which can lead to shock, organ failure, and death. According to the World Health Organization, the fatality rate in the initial outbreak was 25%, but it was over 80% in the 1998 to 2000 outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo, as well as the 2005 outbreak in Angola, WHO. Number 9. Ebola virus. In 1976, the first known Ebola epidemics in humans occurred in the Sudanese Republic and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Contact with blood or other bodily fluids, as well as tissue from infected humans or animals, spreads Ebola. Elke Mühlberger, an Ebola virus expert and associate professor of microbiology at Boston University, told Live Science that the known strains vary greatly in their deadliness. Ebola reston is one strain that doesn't even make people sick. According to WHO, the Bundibugyo strain has a death rate of up to 50%, and the Sudan strain has a fatality rate of up to 71%. According to WHO, the outbreak in West Africa began in early 2014, and is the largest and most complex outbreak of the disease to date. Number 8. Rabies. Despite the fact that pet rabies vaccines, which were introduced in the 1920s, have helped to make the disease extremely rare in the industrialized world, it remains a severe problem in India and parts of Africa. It wreaks havoc on the brain. It's a terrible sickness, Mühlberger added. We have a rabies vaccination and antibodies that act against rabies, she explained, so if someone is bitten by a rabid animal, we can cure them. If you don't seek therapy, she added, there's a 100% chance you'll die. Number 7. HIV. HIV may be the most lethal virus in the modern world. Dr. Amesh Adalja, an infectious disease physician and spokeswoman for the Infectious Disease Society of America, stated, it's still the largest killer. Since the disease's discovery in the early 1980s, an estimated 32 million individuals have died as a result of HIV. Right now, the infectious disease that is wreaking the most havoc on humanity is HIV, Adalja added. People with HIV can now live for years thanks to powerful antiviral medications. However, the illness continues to wreak havoc in many low- and middle-income countries, where new HIV infections account for 95% of all new infections. In the WHO African area, nearly 1 in every 25 adults is HIV positive, accounting for nearly 2/3 of all HIV positive people globally. Number 6. Smallpox. The Globe Health Assembly declared the world smallpox-free in 1980. Prior to that, mankind battled smallpox for thousands of years, with the disease killing roughly 1 out of every 3 people affected. Survivors were left with significant, lasting wounds and, in many cases, blindness. Outside of Europe, where people had minimal interaction with the virus, before tourists introduced it to their regions, mortality rates were much greater. For example, historians estimate that smallpox, which was introduced by European explorers, killed 90% of the Aboriginal population of the Americas. Smallpox murdered 300 million people in the 20th century alone. It was something that put a big cost on the earth, not only mortality but also blindness, Adalja explained. Number 5. Hantavirus. The first case of hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, HPS, in the United States was in 1993, when a healthy young Navajo man and his fiancée died within days of getting shortness of breath in the Four Corners area of the United States. A deer mouse living in the home of one of the afflicted patients was found to have hantavirus a few months later. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, more than 600 persons in the United States have contracted HPS, with 36% of them dying from it. People catch the disease after coming into contact with the droppings of infected mice, rather than from one person to another. According to a 2010 research published in the journal Clinical Microbiology Reviews, a distinct hantavirus triggered an outbreak in the early 1950s during the Korean War. More than 3,000 personnel were affected, with around 12% of them dying. While the virus was unknown to Western medicine when it was found in the United States, experts later discovered that Navajo medical traditions describe a similar ailment and related it to mice. Number 4. Influenza. Under a transmission electron microscope, this digitally colorized image depicts the H1N1 influenza virus. This virus, previously known as swine flu, triggered a pandemic in 2009, killing an estimated 200,000 people globally. According to WHO, up to 500,000 people worldwide will die from the flu during a typical flu season. When a new flu strain evolves, however, a pandemic occurs, resulting in faster disease spread and, in many cases, higher mortality rates. The world's deadliest flu pandemic, known as the Spanish flu, began in 1918, and infected up to 40% of the global population, killing an estimated 50 million people. I believe something similar to the 1918 flu outbreak might happen again, Mühlberger added. We'd have a significant problem if a novel influenza strain found its way into the human population, was easily transmitted between humans, and caused serious sickness. Number 3. Dengue. Dengue fever originally originated in the Philippines and Thailand in the 1950s, and it has since spread throughout the tropical and subtropical world. Dengue fever is currently prevalent in up to 40% of the world's population, and the disease, and the mosquitoes that transmit it, is certain to spread further as the world warms. According to the World Health Organization, dengue infects 50 to 100 million individuals each year. Dengue fever has a lower mortality rate than some other viruses, at 2.5%, but it can create an Ebola-like sickness called dengue hemorrhagic fever, which has a 20% mortality rate if left untreated. We need to think about dengue virus a lot more, because it's a serious threat to us, Mühlberger added. According to the CDC, a dengue vaccine was licensed by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration in 2019 for use in children aged 9 to 16 who live in locations where dengue is frequent and have a verified history of virus infection. In some countries, a vaccine is allowed for those aged 9 to 45, but patients must have previously experienced a proven case of dengue fever. Those who have never been exposed to the virus may be at risk of developing severe dengue, if they are given the vaccine. Number 2. Rotavirus. Rotavirus particles are viewed at a magnification of 455,882x in this image. There are currently 2 vaccines available to protect infants from rotavirus, the most common cause of serious diarrhea in babies and young children. The virus can spread quickly via the fecal-oral pathway, according to researchers, meaning that small particles of feces end up being consumed. Although rotavirus infection kills few children in the industrialized world, it is a killer in the developing world, where rehydration treatments are not readily available. In 2008, the WHO estimated that 453,000 children under the age of 5 died from rotavirus infection around the world. However, countries that have used the vaccine have seen a significant reduction in rotavirus hospitalizations and deaths. Number 1. SARS-CoV. According to the WHO, the virus that causes severe acute respiratory syndrome, or SARS, first surfaced in the Guangdong province of southern China in 2002. The virus most likely began in bats, and then spread to nocturnal creatures known as civets before infecting humans. SARS expanded to 26 countries around the world after causing an outbreak in China, infecting over 8,000 people and killing over 770 over the course of 2 years. Fever, Chills and body pains are common symptoms of the illness, which commonly leads to pneumonia, a serious condition in which the lungs become inflamed and fill with pus. SARS has an estimated fatality rate of 9.6% with no approved treatment or vaccine as of yet. According to the CDC, no new cases of SARS have been documented since the early 2000s. What do you think about this video? Do let us know down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.